tea. So it appears they have resorted back to their old tips and tricks, basically asking people, random people on the streets, what they think about Nicki Minaj's political choices. In my own opinion, at this point, it appears they have more smoke for Nicki Minaj than they actually have for the current president. Because what do you mean you're now randomly asking people again? But then again, I do think that it kind of escalated when those women on The View were acting in a very distasteful manner, in my own opinion, because for such a huge show to be that reckless, to basically run on ideas that are not even proven, especially ideas about things as sensitive as that, it's very disappointing. As you grow older, you begin to see all these people and you realize that they are all just puppets. The people, the women that you once idolized and looked up to, and you were like, okay, they're doing it. When you grow up and actually pay attention and you realize they don't even run their own lives, they're not even allowed to have their own opinions. It appears they're always following a script. Whoopi, what's going on underneath those glasses? Like, really, it's such a disappointment, Whoopi. How could you sit on there and help to propel the narrative that Nicki was out there begging for a pardon for her brother? I mean, these are the things that we expect to see from, random bloggers like myself on YouTube that don't have any form of media background. To see that being done by grown women is disgusting, to say the least. So I guess following that, they decided to spread that narrative. I'm just disgusted, like the more I think about it, the more I just want to puke because ew. Ew. And the fact that they won't even come back to apologize or retract their statement speaks volume. There is no integrity whatsoever. As long as something is fitting their narrative, that's what they will run with. Yo, this world, man, is just so evil. But anyway, so that rumor has been flying around for quite a long time, saying that, oh, well, the real reason why she decided to turn to become Republican is because she was looking for a pardon for her brother or her husband and stuff like that. And so they ended up actually contacting a White House spokesperson. Now, I'm not sure if those people truly believed that rumor, because if they did, then maybe I'm just worrying myself over people that actually are very slow. Because you cannot tell me that when they reached out, they expected to hear a different response from the White House to say that Nicki decided to become Republican because she was asking for a pardon for her brother, for something that happened years ago, by the way, for something that she refused to pay for. Remember how she once said that there was a certain executive or certain executives that approached her and said if she were to pay a certain amount of money, they would make her brother's case disappear. And she refused. So if she wasn't willing to pay an amount of money to get her brother cleared, what makes you think that that's what she would be running to the White House with? If she wanted to make those things disappear, and if she had obliged to those industry executives, they would have done that. She refused. And when she refused, that's when they decided to use that as a gotcha to you. That's where they started plastering the case in every place, okay? Because she had refused to comply. But let me tell you why Nicki refused, okay? Because in the music industry, what they want is dirt on your name. Had she accepted, okay, right now they would still be using that against her to say that this is what you did. This is what you did. We have information on you. You did this. And she refused. And I feel like that's the other reason why they're not able to do much in as far as she's concerned. Because none of anything that they think can be used against her is a secret. And I think the moment they also started calling her Maga Minaj before she even met Trump, that actually fueled her to say, listen, now I'm actually going to step out in public and claim that MAGA title that you guys are trying to blackmail me with. And I feel like being a free person is exactly how you deal with people that want to control you based on, supposed secrets or something. And the fact that there are some people in the music industry that were offering to make Nicki Minaj's brother's case disappear is the reason why I don't take a lot of activism seriously. And it's also not a secret that there are people in the music industry that have done way worse. But we will never hear those people being questioned because I guess they paid the right people to make the things disappear. And whenever activism is rooted on who we like and who we don't like, it is not activism. If you're going to speak up for victims, speak up for everyone. You cannot be silent on the Didla. You cannot be silent on Harvey. You cannot be silent on those files. You cannot be silent on Charlemagne. And all of a sudden, your activism starts with Nicki Minaj's husband, who was a minor when that happened. And now you're propelling the PDF narrative. Do you even know what a PDF is at this point? Because how is someone a minor and then a PDF at the same time? Like, it doesn't really make any sense. But anyway, that being said, let's get back to what the White House said. That was just for context sake to just, kind of highlight how ridiculous the entertainment industry is. So I'm glad the White House is out there speaking on her defense. They said a pardon for family members has never been brought up or even referenced by her or anybody. Such favor hasn't been discussed, and Trump's federal pardon power wouldn't extend to state convictions. And now they're just looking dumb. I really don't know what they were expecting the White House to be saying. I really don't know if they truly did believe that Nicki Minaj was going there to look for a pardon for her husband or her brother or anything of that sort. Like, are you guys slow? Really, genuinely? What were you expecting? Did you actually believe this nonsense? And it appears they didn't stop there. They even went to her record label, to Republic, asking about her political stance. The way they are treating her, picking the other side of politics, they're making it seem like it's a crime that has to be debunked. It's ridiculous, actually, when you think about it. When you think about this being done by Democrats, it's even worse. Because you guys, what do you advocate for? Democracy. What is democracy? It's the right of someone to pick when it comes to politics. Okay, someone can, because what's the point of having the Republicans run for any office if you're just going to antagonize the other person? We might as well just do away with all the other political parties. And then it just remains being the Democratic Party. What's the point of having elections if people are not allowed to choose what they want in as far as politics is concerned? For them to look for a comment because Nicki Minaj has decided to be Republican is insane to me. Like, how do you even approach the record label? Like, what? Tell us what you think, why Nicki Minaj is a Republican. Do you guys go around asking, record labels why certain artists are Democrats? Do you do that? No, because if you did that, then maybe that would make sense. They're treating it like it's an actual crime that people have to distance themselves or debug or like what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not sure even Obama would co-sign this nonsense. I mean, as an advocate for democracy and equality, I don't think that he would be advocating for this nonsense, because what's the point of having elections in, like, if that's the situation? And I know some of you get triggered when I tell you that this side is just, as someone who has seen a lot of democratic leaders turn into tyrants in Africa, I can tell you that someone can start off really being of good intention and stuff like that. There's a very thin line between looking at your democracy heroes as the heroes that they are, and then straight up turning into, it's crazy, you know? If you aren't careful, parties that start out as those that stand for democracy can quickly turn into something toxic. We have heroes that fought for us, in different African countries during, the liberation struggles, during, different, struggles in as far as colonialism is concerned. And when you see how those people turned, you're like, how did this happen? These are the people that were fighting for democracy. What happened? And sometimes you just won't believe it, okay? But anyway, that being said, yeah, Republic Records responded, and this is what they had to say. They said, as Nicki Minaj's record label, we do not comment on her political activities. When she is ready to discuss music, she knows how to reach us, okay? So essentially, they're like, listen, who she chooses to support politically is her business, and we have absolutely nothing to do with that. Which makes me wonder again, those people that were reaching out to Republic, what exactly were they expecting them to say? Like, we're no longer working with Nicki Minaj because she chose a different political party. Or we're dropping her because she chose a different political party. Like, like, what are you guys expecting from this, really? Wouldn't that be insane if they came out and say that, oh, we are distancing ourselves from that because how dare she chooses a different political party that she likes? Would that have been democracy? If Republic had, said that, oh yeah, we're dropping her because how dare she goes and, she becomes Republican, I mean. How dare she becomes Republican, so we are dropping her. So if if the record label had said that, you guys would have been like, yeah, that's right, that's great. This aligns with us as Democrats. This is exactly how democracy works. If you do not support the popular political party, popular to black people, by the way, if you don't support the popular party, then you have to be dropped. That is democracy. This is exactly what we advocate for. If they had given you that response, is that what you guys were going to see? We're going to say? Like, even if that's how they felt, let's say that they were heavily democratic, right? Let's say the record label executives were heavily democratic, and they were planning to sabotage her or drop her or complicate things for her. You really think that they would have commented and said that, yeah, this is what we're going to do? Are you guys ridiculous, really? It's crazy. There are a lot of people that I don't align with politically that have their own beliefs, but even in real life. But it's just like, oh, okay, that's your belief. Okay. Personally, I lean more towards democracy, towards like leaders and parties that advocate for democracy. But I know that democracy is not forcing people to see things in our own lenses. That's not democracy. It doesn't involve force, whether direct, physical, emotional, implied. It doesn't use force. It's not about force. Okay. So you expecting her to be punished because she chose a different political party is not democracy in any way. And if you truly cared about her being misled by the Republicans, that's not the way to go about it. In my own opinion, because if you truly care about her influence being used wrongly by the Republicans to mislead others, and you truly wanted her to see the light, antagonizing her is not the way to go about it. Because what that only does is it solidifies her sentiments towards the Democratic Party. Remember, she came out and said the reason why she felt like these are not the good guys is because of how they had treated her. So if you then go around trying to propel a narrative or trying to antagonize her, do you truly care about her not being a Republican, or this is something more personal that goes beyond just her political choices? Because I believe that in politics, just like in religion, the immediate thing should not be to banish someone. If you truly are advocating for change and democracy and for people to see the light, you do not banish people. You have intellectual arguments with them to enlighten them and show them, listen, this is why you're wrong, this is why you're wrong, this is why you're wrong, this is why you're wrong. Punishing them for their political choices is far from what democracy represents. It is not going to even yield any actual result. If anything, it's going to fuel the narrative of her seeing the Democrats as evil. Because that's essentially what you're now doing. So, speaking, even looking at it as somebody who is rooting for the Democratic Party, the people that are doing that are really doing a disservice to the party. And I'm not sure at this point if they actually do have good intentions in as far as the political party itself is concerned, or if these are personal, vendettas and agendas that are being masked in, politics, which is very sad because whenever you reduce a movement to antagonizing a supporter of a party that you don't align with more than you antagonize the actual head of that party is insane to me. Like, that's insane to me. At this point, you have more smoke for Nicki Minaj than for the actual Republican leaders. Whoever is behind that should stop it, honestly. It's not a good look on the party. If anything, yeah, it's actually doing a disservice to the party, in my own opinion. But let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about that. I did see some people saying that, oh, well, Republic should have defended her more. Honestly, I think this is the safest response they could have given because things like this are very sensitive. They wouldn't want to be looked at as that record label that controls an artist's freedom of choice. It's yeah, I don't know what you guys were expecting them to say. And that being said, also, what's to say that a lot of those executives are also Republican behind the scenes? It's the audacity for me. It's everyone walking around thinking that, who told you that executives at Republic Records are also not Republicans? Like, it's the audacity for me and the delusion. That being said, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let's talk about Linda Perry. I low-key regret that that mashup, really. I regret that mashup. Because somehow, wherever Linda Perry is going, I believe this is somebody who has been in the music industry for such a long time. But nowadays, it appears that for some reason she has to have an opinion on Nicki Minaj because fans, okay? It's fans. Fans made a mashup of her song and Nicki Minaj's song. These guys never even met up to do the challenge together. They never. Never ever. She has never been in, the same room with Nicki Minaj on a personal level. Never, ever. Their song got meshed together with fans and all of a sudden, she is someone worth being asked about Nicki Minaj, her political choices, what she's battling. Like, what are we doing here? Huh? Linda, you're also allowed to say no comment. You're also allowed to say that you don't know Nicki Minaj personally. And her political choices are political choices. You're allowed to do that. Get Linda and her head out of here, okay? Get Linda and her head out of those interviews. If she is not even relevant enough to hold her own interview without being asked about Nicki Minaj, what's the point of interviewing her? Huh? Now she has to carry legends also on her back. It's not enough that Advovo Bibia was running around with her face and her features. It's not enough that Lady Academics is out there trying to be a mini her. It's not enough that Lace Front is antagonizing her. Now she's going as far as carrying that Linda Perry. What's the name of the group that she used to belong to? I don't even know if I was born by that time, but, well, imagine, she's carrying legends on her back. What's going on? What's going on? Please, Linda, okay? You're an older woman, and for that, I will spare you. I will not say much about you, but just your hat. But that's ridiculous, and these interviewers need to stop doing this nonsense. That woman doesn't know Nicki Minaj. Nicki hasn't interacted with that woman. So please, I would rather you go and ask Flavor Flav about Nicki Minaj or Trick Daddy, because no. I don't know how randomly I thought about those people, but she get the point. Anyway, that being said, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. That was random AF. I don't know how Chick Daddy got into this, but all I'm saying is, because those people are irrelevant as far as Nicki Minaj is concerned. So that's what I'm saying. Linda Perry is even worse. Not even the same genre or anything. Please. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Lottery ticket might have been finally claimed, and I'm very happy for her. I'm excited for her because it appears that 21 Savage has finally allowed her to post him on, on her platforms. I mean, because she posted promo for her upcoming album, Big Mama, and finally we got to see 21 Savage in that promo. So I'm absolutely excited for Lottery Ticket. Finally she gets to put a clip of 21 Savage in that. Yeah, I'm just exaggerating. Excited for what? That's the bare minimum. It's not even, if it was even him who had posted her, that would have made sense. But no, it's just her. Like when I saw people saying that finally Lottery Ticket got claimed, I was like, oh, that's something. Only to find out that it's actually her who posted that promo. And nothing says, oh, I'm the husband, nothing said that in that video. So what are you guys even talking about? Why do you guys encourage this behavior, really? For someone who's always going around bragging about her body count, all that preserving yourself for what? To be a bird? Huh? What is this? You guys are getting delusional, okay? You guys are getting insane, okay? What is this? Claimed, finally claimed. Nothing. Nobody was claimed. In fact, she is doing the claiming. I've got nothing to say about that. Speaking about that, let's talk about Akbar V. Oh, I remember where I saw that. It's people who were responding to Akbar V because Akbar had a couple of words to say about lottery ticket not being claimed as well, and so they were like, for Akbar V to drop these disses towards Latto only for 21 to finally claim Latto. So Akbar, you should be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed of because that woman was not claimed still. But then again, when I remember that she's friends with Mariah the Scientist, I'm just like, okay, it kind of makes sense because knowing the type of friends that I have, there's no way they would have allowed me to birdify myself like this. They would have clipped the wings off because who are you becoming a bird for? Because I know my friends would never befriend a bird. They would have clipped off the wings. Like, B, let me see you walk. Yeah, use the legs. Who are you flying around for, flapping those wings for what? For a man? My friends wouldn't have allowed that. But when I remember that her friend is Mariah the Scientist, I kind of forgive her because they kind of vibing in the same frequency. You know, when you look at Mariah, like such a gorgeous, beautiful lady, and then you look at what that man does to her, and I'm just like, man, I'm sure Mariah, when Mariah looks at lottery ticket and, 21, she's like, wow, you have the dream relationship. Because she will be looking at her own with that man who's always embarrassing her. So, birds of the feather, na, 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 together, na. Is the mic is on? I don't know the lyrics. Na, 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 na. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk. Hey, guys, this video is becoming very long. Unfortunately, I have to stop here, okay? Because otherwise I won't be